Today we are making a patty melt. This is just a classic sandwich for me. So we got your standard 3-ounce burger patties. This is 80-20 gram beef. We got that butter I made the other day. Check it out on my channel if you missed that. Some standard American cheese. We got bread. This is white bread. It's actually butter bread. And then some onions. The patty melt is basically made on sandwich bread. So that's the only thing that really differentiates this. And it's going to be toasted. We're going to get some nice slices of onion here. You could top it with whatever you want, but I like a nice grilled onion over this. It gives it a nice bit of flavor. So I'm going to use that piece there and then this little piece here. That'll cover one slice of that bread. It's exactly what I'm looking for. To get the process started, though, we're going to take some of that nice fresh butter I made, and we're going to toast off one side of this bread. This butter is delicious. I made this earlier in the week. You can go check out that video. But you want to just kind of toast this bread, get it nice and brown on one side. You can do it in a toaster if you want. Absolutely fine. But I'm just going to do everything here on the griddle and the flat top. So just take that bread, lay it down on low heat. You don't want it to burn, and let that get nice and brown. At the same time, on the back side of the burner, we're going to get a little oil down, and we're going to start to cook these onions. You're not slow cooking them. You're just looking to get some char and nice color on both sides. Get them to the point where they're nice on a burger, soft, tender. If you want a little more crunch, totally fine. But that's where we're looking for on the bread. Nice and browned, even, not burnt. And then just pull that off. We're going to briefly wipe down the grill here because when we get it nice and rippingly hot for the burgers, you don't want that butter to burn and get kind of gross. So wipe as much of that off as you can. We put down some oil, and now we're going to throw those burgers on. I'm not going to use the big old burger press. I'm just going to use the parchment paper here. Press down the sides. This is what happens if you don't use the parchment paper. The burger will stick to your spatula. Total mistake on my part there, but showing you guys that little bit of a lesson. Just push down the sides. That'll help them get nice and crispy when they're nice and thin, and do that to both patties. You do want to try and make these a little oblong shaped because your bread is not typical bun shaped, so it is longer than it is wide. So just try to get good coverage for your burgers. Patty melts always kind of have some extra bread space. It's totally fine. Briefly salt these guys. You don't need to do a lot. They're going to taste fine from the saltiness of the cheese. And then we're just going to flip these onions. They're getting right where I want them, that little bit of char, that little bit of brown. You don't need to take them much further than that. If you want them even less cooked than that, that's also totally fine. Now we're going to flip over these burgers. That cooked in maybe a minute. You get that beautiful Maillard reaction there. Nice and brown on all parts. You get a little bit of laciness on the edges. You can cook them further if you want. You can cook them less if you want. If you want to do a thicker patty, that's also totally fine. But once you flip these, just throw on a good piece of American cheese. You want something that melts real nice. You can use any other cheese if you want, but American cheese melts just kind of the best for a nice patty melt. Now we're going to sauce these buns, pieces of bread. You don't need to do anything fancy. I'm just going to make kind of like a burger sauce that I like to use, which is just mayo and regular yellow mustard. I've been using this Mike's Amazing Mayo lately instead of Hellmann's, and it's really good, so I recommend giving them a try. It just has a kind of a nicer taste than the processed Hellmann's taste. Throw a little extra mayo on that bottom bun just so you have a good amount of sauce. And now let's start building this. So we're going to take those onions off. I'm going to try to evenly spread them. You could kind of like Benihana style it here and peel off the layers of the volcano and just start making 2 even sides. Throw that littler piece in the middle there so you get good coverage. And then just lay those burger patties on. The burgers here probably cooked for at most 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. This whole process is basically in real time. I made this whole thing in 5 minutes. So this is a really easy, delicious lunch, dinner, snack, however you want to do it. And it's just real hearty. You get the nice flavor of that bread. The only way I think you can cut a grilled cheese or a patty melt is diagonal. I do think that is the superior cut in this situation. So cut that in half, down the middle, down the side, whatever you want. But diagonal is the winner. And look at how beautiful that is. Your burgers are cooked, your cheese is melted, you have those nice pieces of onion there. It just looks absolutely delicious. It really is kind of like a grilled cheese sandwich with meat in the middle of it, so how can you go wrong with that? But the most important thing here is how does it taste? So let's just pull it off, take a bite. It's absolutely delicious. The toastiness of the bread is great. The meat, the cheese, everything comes together here. This is the perfect little package for lunch.